about your live story. Coach's Corner with Coach Heck and the infamous Coach Patrick King.
Did you ever have any incentives on your contracts at high school?
I did. One incentive that I had was, heck, if you can go through the year without 15 technical fouls, you're going to get another $500. And you know what I said? That ain't worth it to me. He said, Rod, you're second in the state in technicals after the first week of your high school coaching career. We have a little gig at Dorban's Old Town Tap, and that was pretty cool. The food was pretty good. It was kind of more us, you know, the clientele, people coming in, couldn't talk, didn't have any teeth. That was more our style. And then,
the west side.
The west side. I mean, I'm a west sider. Come on, man. I'm a west sider. I got my right pant leg up, by the way.
Welcome to Coach's Corner with Heck and King, live from Corby's Irish Pub in South Bend. We are presented to you by Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance, Han Funeral Home in Mishawaka, the Harbor Group Planned Wealth in Anderson, the Black Sedan Band in Birmingham, Alabama, and our newest partners, Williams Family Chiropractic Clinic and the Savory Colonel Popcorn Shop, both in Granger. Thanks for joining us for another season of streams on YouTube. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and drop a 5-star review in your podcast feed. Now here's Heck and King.
Welcome to Corby's Irish Pub on this beautiful Thursday, late August evening for another version of Coach's Corner with Heck and King. And yet we have a guy with a Cub jersey on back there kind of listening, man.
Shooting pool.
What's up? Love it. If we can score some runs, I love it. We can score some runs, I love it. We go to Arizona, we score 1 or 2 runs. And in the famous words of 1946 Mr. Basketball, Jumpin' Johnny Wilson, we can't bust a grape.
Yeah.
Now, the gentleman to my right is shaking his head like, oh, man, heck. But you weren't even here last week.
No, I tried to be.
There was no air conditioning. We were sweating everything off, and you're in a hotel in Westfield.
I was on the golf course.
Imagine that, Johnny. Be good.
What else is new?
I was on the golf course. I worked at the Live Tour. More than likely the last Live Tour.
All right, so we're going to get into that. Explain to us, and of course, to John's or to Pat's right is John Overmeyer, who obviously is the owner of Broadcast Sport and who allows us to be on his network. We appreciate that, John.
I would love having you guys.
So tell us what Live is and why is it the end?
Why is it not? It's most people know it was a Saudi-based golf tour. And it was a lot of the PGA guys that were looking for an extra $1.
Try some of that popcorn up there. It's from the Savory Colonel. It is caramel and cheddar with some sea salt mixed in.
We've got some new people walking in. We're just talking to them as they come in. But yeah, the thing I thought was interesting some of the things I talked.
So what does Live stand for?
I don't even know. I don't know if it does.
I think they just give it 3
letters. It's kind of like the PSA airline. Nobody knows what PSA stands for.
I know what it stands for.
Stop.
The PSA stands for, it's a prostate test.
Yeah.
PSA test.
If you fly,
John, am I right?
Yeah, absolutely right.
If you fly on them
because the doctor always wants to see your PSA results.
Yes. I'm saying they're good. Keep your fingers in your pocket.
Absolutely.
Now you can see why I'm not even going to bother trying to explain.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. We're a bunch of clowns there. Go ahead.
But it was originally lots of big money. Now, obviously, they're having problems. And if you've read any of the news here recently, they've laid off like 99% of their work staff, which I think the people knew. And but I mean, the golf was very competitive. It was fun to watch. And we were down at Chatham Hills Country Club there on the north side of Noblesville and Westfield. And for you people that are local, it's right there at the Highway 38 exit when you go to either Noblesville or Sheridan off of 31. And we parked at Grand Park.
Oh, what a great athletic facility Grand Park is.
Used Grand Park as parking. You park there for free. They had a free shuttle for every person. and took them basically to the front gate. And you walked in. The fan experience that they have set up is really, really unique. It's a very fan-friendly environment.
How was the galleries? Did they have fans
They
there?
had it was huge.
Really?
Yeah, they were huge. So you can't. It's hard to sell out a golf tournament, but the crowds were better than last year, and I think that was kind of a surprise because of the fragility. How's that for a word? How fragile things
Not
were.
bad for a PE teacher.
Yeah, because
Yeah, exactly.
they had already
No,
canceled.
exactly.
They had canceled this week's tournament because they ran out of money. They canceled the Friday concert that they were having because they didn't have money to pay the guys. So because of that, it was just strictly golf.
Okay, so let me ask you this question: did they have prize money? Did they have
Yeah.
enough prize money for that?
Yeah, they did. They did cut the prize money. It was supposedly a $30 million purse, and they cut it down to maybe I think it was 10 or 15 million.
So who were the name golfers that were there?
Well, the big names obviously you got DeChambeau,
Right.
John Rahm. Both of those guys were in groups that I had a chance to take out to their hole. I had Martin Keimer in my cart, Brian Grace from
Grace
England.
College.
I had Richard Bland, who was in the final group. He was in the cart one day with me. I was at 4 different holes on 4 different days.
All right, so two of the guys I know, DeChambeau and Johnny Rahm. I got no idea who the other guys
How
are.
about Bubba Watson?
Oh, Bubba Watson, I know.
Bubba was there.
Who else that I would know?
That you would know. The winner was a kid straight out of college named DeSasso, who had played at, I think he was at Auburn or Alabama. I can't remember what college. You wouldn't know him.
Okay, so what was the winning? What was the amount of money the winner got?
I think the winner got 7 or 8 million as an individual.
No wonder they're freaking going broke.
no kidding.
But it's Saudi money, and the people were all
What,
up
they
in
do
arms
run out of
about.
oil or what?
No, they just decided to.
They give-
it'd be
Did they
politi-
give him an Exxon credit card?
Well,
or what?
yeah, I'm thinking it was politics.
Run out of
And
money.
and I know Saudi money is American money, but there's still a group of people that think it's Saudi money. So because of that, they said we're no longer going to be your 100% sponsor. So they were scrambling for new sponsors. But there's now the guys are talking about leaving and trying to get back into the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, or going to the European Tour. So anyways, it was good golf. I enjoyed it. This weekend, we've got the finals for the PGA have started today, and that'll be fun to watch that. But the people that I saw play last week, a lot of the Americans want to try to get back into the PGA, which will be a stretch.
So there
chose
was
to
a lot of
leave.
backlash when guys like, I think it was Rory McIlroy, Phil Mickelson, a lot
Sure.
of guys joined the Live Tour.
Well, McElroy did not, and he's basically they're on opposite sides, and they're the vocal ones. That's why you came up with those two names. Mickelson, Greg Norman was one of the original organizers. Bubba Watson, Koepka, DeChambeau, Rahm, a lot of Europeans that are playing in the World Tour also joined Live, and they're sometimes players in the PGA. So now they want back, and that's going to be the next controversy and the next drama that
Well,
we deal
the
with.
PGA, and obviously they're players with names. So why wouldn't the PGA want them back in, or was the PGA just trying to prove their point?
Yes,
You left.
yes, and yes.
Adios.
Yes, and yes.
You're not welcome. Yeah.
It's
You leave.
yes and yes.
Yeah.
It's what you're dealing with is things that we grew up with the old AFL, NFL,
Yep.
or the
ABA, NBA.
ABA. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah,
Same
but
thing.
eventually they got that straightened out, and
Well,
they
and that-
merged.
And that's where
And they
we
merged, and that's why we have great
are. They haven't merged
NFL
yet.
football. We have great NBA basketball, WNBA, and not so much. But we're going to talk about that a little bit too. So when you're a volunteer, all right, you get to the course at what time?
Wednesday was a practice round. I got there about 7 a.m. and I helped with check-ins. It was interesting because I actually ended up down at the practice range, and I was sorting golf balls.
Jeez.
I look like a little 6-year-old down there.
No, your college major at Butler was good
Oh,
for you.
it really
As a
helped.
golf ball sorter.
They gave me a laundry basket.
What's your degree in? I'm a golf ball sorter.
They gave me a laundry basket of golf balls. And see, they brought their own golf balls. You just don't hit the range balls. So each player, hits a Titleist or a Callaway or whatever he has. That's what he practices with.
All right, let me ask you the biggest question that John and I have right now before you go any further.
No, I didn't bring any home.
Did you throw a few in your pocket
No,
and
but
bring them home for us?
I do have enough teas to finish the season, by
Okay.
the way. So
All right.
I did get in the fishbowl. They
I
had
mean, the big tees or the little ones?
both.
Oh,
I had
okay,
choices.
cool.
It was interesting because, like I said, each player, we bagged them up. We had Titleist, Pro V black number, Pro V red number, Callaway reds. You had the Bridgestone, you had TaylorMades. And then you put them in little bags, and the caddies would come over, and we had them all labeled.
Wow.
And it was self-serve. They'd come over and say hi, and
Okay, so when you go and you work one of these golf outings, so are you staying at a hotel? Do they provide housing for you at a hotel?
it's volunteer.
So where did you stay?
I stayed at my in-laws over in Alexandria.
Beautiful. Yes.
And
yes.
I cut through the country and got over there in about 40
Yes.
minutes.
What about like meals, like lunches or something like that during the day?
You got a food ticket, and I worked doubles, so I got 2 food tickets. So basically,
So you ate lunch and supper?
Yep.
I mean, good meals?
Yeah, well, they had meals. Most of the time, I'll call it concession stand food, but it was okay.
Saudi Arabian food?
No,
Oh, okay.
It was American.
Okay.
It was American.
All right. So you really love doing that,
So
don't
it
you?
was fun. So basically, it was a shotgun start. So we had 56 carts. The players would come and find, they would know what hole they started on, and you'd wave at them if you knew who your threesome were. And you took the player, the caddy, and usually a scorekeeper or security. Most of them had security with them also. You'd take them out to the hole. You'd park the cart. You'd stay there and monitor. You would be a marshal at the previous green, because then when they came around 4 hours later, that would be their last hole. So you picked the same group up. You took them in. One thing that was interesting, and people, if you weren't there, when they finish, they do their scoring right at the green, which I thought was interesting. And I asked them, they stay right at the green. And I said, why do you do that? Why don't you just go in to the, into the clubhouse and do your scoring? I said, well, think about it. We're going to have 56, 64, whatever it was, players all at once turning their scores in. So they have electronics out there. They have an iPad with a score. So basically those 3 would compare their scores just like they would at the table at the scores in the scorer's tent. They did all their paperwork right there. Final score, they read them back and forth to the scorer. He hit send. It goes to the computers. All the scoreboards all over the course. They've got the official scores, and they were finished. So instead, the first 3 days, I didn't even take my players back to the clubhouse. I dropped them off at the practice range, and they went straight to the practice range and said, "Adios, see you tomorrow."
All right. So let me ask you this question. I know you take an oath. I know in a lot of scenarios, an oath you might take is like when you go to Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
That's an oath we take, right?
Okay.
So did you ever see anybody use a foot wedge out on the course?
No.
No?
There's no way. They're on camera the whole time.
Do they ever roll the ball?
No, can't touch it.
Really?
Now they can move the grass a little bit to see if it's theirs, but everything's on camera, and we've got so many marshals around.
So what do you mean everything's on camera? Every hole, every shot?
Yeah, they've got shot length, so they know there's people physically that will go out when they hit their tee shots, go out and measure how far their tee shot is. Then they have the shot length at the green that's good out to 100 yards. So it measures how far the putt is from the hole. So if you were at the event and it says, John Overmeyer putting 28 feet 3 inches. That's how far they know. That's how long your putt is.
So let me ask you a question, John.
Wise.
If you were putting at 28 feet and 3 inches, and I was going to bet on you, would I bet that you'd make that 28 footer, or you wouldn't?
I would. You would. You better. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't make it.
No, there's no way.
Maybe
from 10 feet in, yes, but 28 feet.
Would you make a 28 footer?
Oh heavens, no! I'd be happy to. I just want to 2-putt that.
Yeah, me too.
No. if I'm at 28
That's-
feet,
that's
I'm
a
saying,
two-putt.
No.
well, I want a 3-putt just to make sure.
That's a 2-putt.
So there's no gimmies. There's no GLCs.
No, everything goes in the bottom.
There's no good on the card.
No,
No.
everything
Good
goes in the bottom.
GLC. I can see John Rahm going, hey, GLC from 8 feet.
Nah, I'll give
No,
it to
no,
you.
Johnny.
I'll give it to you.
Johnny, yeah.
I'll give it
But
to you.
isn't there some kind of a tournament where they do give it to them?
That's match play.
Match play, yeah. If it's
Match play.
yeah,
That's
match
the
play,
difference
they,
between
yeah,
match
they'll
play and
concede a
stroke
hole.
play.
They can concede a hole.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, so I love playing match play.
Yeah. Yeah.
GLC, heck,
If
good
you-
on the card.
If you knock it in the water and you're laying 4 and you're not on the green yet, and I'm putting for a 3, I'll probably tell you your next shot's good.
Dang.
Go ahead.
I want to play some more match play.
If I know I'm going to make a 4 and you're laying 4, I'm going.
Say, yeah.
That's good. Your 5's good.
Hey, so we are on our third Coach's Corner episode this year, our third of 37. And I can't tell you how much fun we have doing this. Scott already talked about the sponsors. I'm going to hit them again real quickly. Again, Ben Harbor and Harbor Financial in Anderson, Indiana. They just do a great job managing your money. Harbor Financial, Tony Letcher Health Markets here in South Bend. Tony has been a great sponsor for us. I think probably since we've been on the air. Pat Hahn, the funeral business, the funeral director at Hahn Funeral Home. They are such a great and compassionate place. When you walk in the doors, it's first class, and everything is done the right way. So if you have any of those needs at just a time in your life that's really, really tough, give Pat Hahn a call. The Savory Colonel is now a sponsor. The Savory Colonel on the Target Shopping Center across from it, 109 East University Drive in Granger. About 150 different types of popcorn.
Yep.
Now, I don't know, John, if you're a popcorn savant,
Absolutely.
okay, have you ever heard of maple bacon?
I have.
Have you really?
I've never tried it, but I've heard of maple bacon popcorn. That sounds wonderful.
What about mint cookies and cream popcorn?
That one I've not heard of. No,
What about white raspberry popcorn?
I haven't heard about that one.
What about zebra caramel, Pat?
No,
So my point
I'm still at the one butter or no butter.
my point is tonight we brought
Salt or no
over
salt.
caramel chocolate with sea salt on it,
That was good.
and it's literally amazing.
tell you,
It is
it's
sitting at the bar.
Yep.
The caramel chocolate popcorn from Savor Colonel is sitting at the
Now,
bar.
there were 4 ladies up there. One of them left. I bet she's going to stop and get some on the way
Well,
home.
stop in at the Savory Colonel, the Black Sedan Band. I gotta get the Black Sedan music. I saw WKRP coming in.
Yeah, he came in.
He came in, and if he's sitting at the table when Black Sedan comes in, he's gonna start doing some dancing to him.
Let's go on back to September just a few months back.
Chiropractor, is that we got some Black Sedan?
Yeah, we
You
do.
asked me.
Turn that up a little, man.
Now you're asking.
You remember the night of September. Love was raining nights of September.
You do realize we are on film, right?
We are. Oh, my
There's
bad.
evidence.
My bad. The Black Sedan Band in Birmingham, Alabama. They're amazing. Zach Williams Chiropractic Clinic, the Williams Family Chiropractic Clinic. And our sponsors just do a great job of allowing us to be on the air. So we want to thank them and our listeners. When Scott will put the information on for you, get a screenshot and pick that information up. So when I start thinking about this show tonight,
Everything is in the show links.
obviously, because
The
I know
links are in the show notes.
with anything with golf, you're really good with it.
I'm trying to
And
keep
you like
up,
it.
and I like it. And again, I don't really worry about names so much. And I'm sitting there thinking about all the people I had in my cart, because there were sometimes I had Richard Bland one day on the way out, but then I had somebody else in the group on the way in. That was interesting because the first day, DeChambeau and Rahm were in the same group, and that was a group, and Richard Bland, that's the group I took out. And I had Richard Bland in my cart. The other two guys that were with me, they had scorekeepers because Rahm and DeChambeau had huge escorts, and they had people with security taking them out. So, them getting in my cart wasn't going to happen.
All right, so let me ask you this question. Is Richard Bland as bland as they say he is?
No, he was fun. He was
I
fun.
mean, John, have you ever heard of Richard Bland?
He is.
You've heard of Dick Bland.
He is.
I
one
thought
of,
he was bland, but
he
maybe
is
I
one of the.
I thought he was absolutely bland. But
He is one of the older golfers on the tour, and he ended up in the last group. He was tied for the lead going into the last day. And,
Richard Bland was.
yep. And
So obviously his golf game was not bland.
He had a good game going, and matter of fact, where I was the last day, they started on 1. I was on 5 green. He chips up, just typical like us. He was right on the edge of the green and chipped and 2-putted for a 5. Gets to the next hole, duck hooks one out of bounds.
oh, geez.
So
he
there is
lost-
hope. There's hope for a golfer like me.
Oh yeah, he lost 3 shots in a matter of 10 minutes.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And went
Wow.
from either first or second place to back in the pack.
Well, Richard Bland, I want you to know that because I asked the question if he was a bland person, and you would know because he was in your cart. You drove him out to the tee.
Right? Oh, he was fun to talk to.
I'm just messing with you, man. I know in any sport, if you're a professional in any sport, you're one of the best in the world. And I know from just trying to play the game of golf a little bit, I know how difficult that is. And I know that it takes a daily effort on the practice greens, on the practice tees, and all that stuff. And I certainly respect the amount of practice that professional golfers put in.
And here's another part of that. 2 weeks ago, I played in the.
You played with Richard Bland?
No, I played. Let me go on. I played in the senior Metro here in South Bend.
And did quite well.
And that was an experience for me myself.
What place did you come in?
Well, third.
Third. Yeah, he finished third in the senior metro. Yeah.
Dang, that is really
I'm
good.
not going to tell you how many were in my age group, but it was seniors, and I decided, okay, I've played in this before. And
So there were only 4 in your age group.
there were 8.
Oh, 8. So you were 3 out of 8. All right.
I was leading up to that.
So you know what? I get a lot of play. On this, and I know that a lot of people they end up laughing hilariously when I say this. But I always tell them, I said, I got a friend that guarded Larry Bird,
No, right.
and he played at Butler. Larry Bird played at Indiana State, so they played each other every year. And my friend held Larry Bird to 24 points, and they said, you know what they said? Your friend must be a hell of a basketball player to hold Larry Bird for 24 points.
Just like Dan Dockich. I could go if you ended the story there with Dockich guarding Jordan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
But then I take it a step further. And I said, well, he only guarded him for 6 minutes. But
Thank you.
that 24 and 6.
That's good you clarified.
What's up, Darren Pritchett? How are you, man?
Let me get him on here. He's not even here. There you go, Darren.
What's up, Darren? How are you?
Let me get him in here. And Scott, what's going to happen? There we go. I got to get him in a double screen.
Good.
Guys,
Can
good to see you. How are you?
you got us?
I got to
Yes,
move
sir.
him up here. Let's see what's going on here. Don't panic. It's at our end. All right. Let me see. Say something. See if I got you on here yet.
I'm looking forward to
There we
talking
go.
to my
There you
2
are.
favorite coaches.
Well, your 2 favorite coaches, and then your favorite of all time podcaster is the great Johnny B. Good, Johnny Overmeyer,
Good
man.
over- Good to see you guys.
Yeah. Hey, so did you catch any of that that interview when we were talking about Richard Bland and the Live tournament?
I heard the last 3 minutes of it.
That was enough.
So do you know who Richard Bland is by any chance?
I know the name. I'm trying to place him.
Oh, okay. So and obviously, because I'm a wise guy, so my first question was, is he a bland guy? And Pat says no. Pat says he's kind of cool, actually.
Well, then Pat's royalty then.
No, I know.
He was a golfer. He was at the Live Golf. I was at the Live Golf tournament this weekend, and he was in one of the groups that I was part
I
of.
think Jeremy probably slipped him a 50 to say these things. You know.
All right, so Darren, here's my question, and because I posed this question to Pat when he told me he was going to do this, because typically he stands out there and he's got a sign. Where's your sign at
I
anyway?
gave it to the girls.
He's got a sign that
It's
says
behind the counter.
"Quiet, please."
Go see if you can borrow it,
There's my
Kenny.
sign.
There it is, right there.
Yep.
How does Darren got your sign? So,
This was
Darren
purchased
might
from
have-
like a department store.
all right. So let me ask you this question. You're an ex-athlete. You've been around athletics your whole life.
X.
Give me my
Why?
sign.
Yeah, no, there it is. Here, let me see it.
Here, we'll put it on this side of the camera. It's got two different lengths. Words.
There it is, man. Look at that. So,
Hey, now this is going to be a collector's item. See down here at the bottom?
yeah, it says please.
Up here. Up
Oh,
here.
up here.
Live.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
So here's my question to you, Darren. And I know
This show just
you're
went to
laughing. You're laughing so hard. You're going to be laughing a little harder here too. But anyway,
here, get that.
like in every sport, okay, every other sport, I'm at the free throw line. I'm concentrating. I'm getting ready to knock down a couple of free throws. You think the crowd's going to be quiet? Hell no. They're screaming. They're trying to put pressure on me. Why in golf do people hold up a sign and say, "Quiet, please"? Why don't golfers just golf under the pressure of the crowd or whatever?
It's just always, Coach, been a gentleman's sport, and people are quiet. I guess a yell would cause you to alter your swing a little bit. My thing is, do we really need a quiet please sign at a live event when they're jamming music the whole time?
Yeah, no, 100%. But so what you're saying is that basketball or baseball is not a gentleman's sport, because people are allowed to do that. Now, I can tell you this much. I remember in college basketball, I don't know who we were playing or whatever, but, it's a second left. We're up by one. A dude's got a 1-and-1. And I said, "Ref, hold on. Let me switch sides here." So I'm walking across. I said, "You got no chance of making this, buddy. None. And if you're going to miss to my side, because I need another rebound to get a double-double." And sure enough, the guy clanks it. Well, you got to be able to play under pressure. You got to be able to put that stuff out of your mind. But in other sports, like even tennis, isn't tennis, quote, a gentleman's sport where people aren't screaming?
They're quiet during the serve.
When there's rallies, they make noise.
Yeah, once they start.
Yeah.
All right, now here-
those
Now-
those reactions.
Oh, great putt.
now,
Well,
you
I
took-
haven't hit it yet.
Darren-
Quiet, please.
Darren, now listen. Hey, how many times have you seen, like, I can think of a Colts games, they're playing indoor. What's Peyton Manning doing? You see him going, "Calm down, quiet." And it is dead silent, so Peyton Manning could do his audibles. But if he's on the road, then yeah, they're yelling and screaming. They can't hear a thing.
Well,
Okay, free throws at a basketball game, the home team. It's quiet. It's like church.
They're going crazy, man.
When the home team's shooting a free throw. When the visitors are shooting a free throw, you can't hear a
in the
thing.
United Center, they're clapping those things behind the basket. No, okay,
the visitors.
So you bring up you bring up the Colts, right?
Okay.
Because you're a Colts guy, right?
I'm talking about indoors.
What did Peyton Manning say all the time when he was getting ready to say hike?
He was calling the snap count.
And what was his favorite word to say? You know what it is, Darren.
Omaha.
Omaha. 25. Omaha.
That meant it's on one. Next sound.
I don't know, man, but all right, Peyton.
Yeah, right.
But so how's it going, Darren? How's life in the St. Louis area?
Well, I'm in Springfield, Illinois, about an hour and a half from St. Louis, and we had a crazy week at our radio station. I call the Sacred Heart Griffin High School football games a great program. They won 6 state titles through the years. They're kind of in the middle of the pack. There are 8 classes in Illinois. They're usually 4 or 5A. And we had our week 1 game last Saturday at Joliet Catholic. Cyclones are down 23-20. It's 4th and 2 from the other team's 42 with 18 seconds left. And our quarterback throws a bomb, and our wide receiver makes a head-first diving, one-handed catch that won the ball game. It's as great a catch as you will ever see. I actually sent it to Scott. I don't think he's on the show tonight, but I sent him video. But guys, Barstool Sports picked it up. They put it on the Pat McAfee show. And this play, and they were nice enough to put my call over it, has had over 8 million hits.
Oh, good for
this week.
you. Good for
So
you.
it's been a crazy week, and it's remarkable. Just social media, one great play, even at a little high school football game, can blow up into something really, really special, and a very memorable week for these kids that have become more well-known nationally because of one play that was absolutely spectacular. And I'll try to send it to you guys as we talk here, but it was an all-time great catch. The only other catch I could think of at high school level that I saw was Jeff Samardzija for Valpo. Long pass to the 50-yard line. He's triple team, I think, by 3 Kingsmen, and he leaps up and make a one-handed catch. That is next to the catch I saw last Saturday, as good as you'll see.
Yeah, so you were talking about, sports being crazy. How about sports in Chicago being crazy last Friday when the Score fires Mike Mulligan and Marshall Harris? I'm sure you're like me in listening to the Score and in listening to Mully for all those years, and then to wake up and hear that news about Mully getting fired.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere because Mike was doing the show on Friday, and a friend of mine was actually a guest on that show. And then right after the show, he found out what had happened. Some people say maybe he's lost a little off his fastball. My show that I do airs at the same time, so I don't get to hear it as much as other people. I just see the clips on social media from what they did earlier in the day. But it was a shocker. I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. I think they need someone with a little spunk and pizzazz to get even more, I think, emotion out of David Hall. But we'll see if Peyton can get the job done. It's an interesting choice. I'm really curious to see how it works out. I feel like they need a leader, more of a host, and maybe he can do that. But I thought it was an interesting choice.
Yeah, and with all the years and the work that Mully had been involved with the Score, the unceremoniously goodbye or pink slip or whatever you want to call it is a harsh reality of really what the radio and media world is kind of about, isn't it?
Yeah, they don't let you say goodbye in most places because they want it to be about the next person, not the past. I know in South Bend, after the Schurz Corporation sold our radio stations, the new company doesn't believe in allowing people to say goodbye. That's just the way they did things. Don't know if I think it's a little different in a smaller town compared to Chicago, but everybody has their reasoning. But normally you don't get to say goodbye. And it's kind of a shame because Mulligan made them a lot of money through the years.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. And I also think, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years before that, when they let Brian Hanley go and brought in the quote hot new guy, David Hall, who had been a guest on that show, several times, and a writer for the Chicago Tribune. And when we think about David Hall, we think about the great football player he was at North Judson High School, which I'm sure at that time you covered him a little bit. And then he went on to Ball State and had a great football career at Ball State.
And I knew him mainly for being the guy that stirred things up a little bit with Notre Dame football when things weren't going well back in the day at the South Bend Tribune. He was not afraid to be critical and point fingers. And the folks by the Golden Dome, I don't think were big fans of David Hall, but he told it like he saw it, and I always respected that.
Yeah, and he's a former North Judson Blue Jay, man. Played for the great Dave McCullough in basketball. And I want to say, was Russ Radke his coach in football?
Boy, that I don't know. I never saw him play.
Oh, okay. So tell me what's going on from a collegiate standpoint. What are you broadcasting? Are you doing University of Illinois stuff, or what are you doing from the broadcast angle collegiately?
I'm not doing anything collegiately right now. We just do my 3-hour morning show here in Springfield, Illinois every morning, and then I do the Sacred Heart Griffin football games. We play Old Joliet Catholic on Saturday in Joliet, so we'll be making the trip up there for that game. And then just doing an afternoon show as well, mixed in at times. So doing a little of this, a little of that, covering the Illini, covering the Bears, Cardinals, Cubs. So it's a lot of the same stuff I did in South Bend, except I traded Illinois football for Notre Dame football, which is a step down. But I also traded Illinois basketball for Notre Dame basketball. So that's a major step up. I mean, we go to Final Fours here in Illinois, and at Notre Dame, we just try not to piss off the fans if you're the head coach.
Yeah. So what's your take on that from the standpoint? And obviously, everybody knows the dollar figure is the reason why Notre Dame either can't keep players or can't recruit those kind of players. And the players that they're bringing in on the portal are guys from smaller conferences, right?
We talked about that last year.
And Notre Dame is obviously getting them, and I don't want to say on the cheap, but basically on the cheap, right?
I mean, here's my opinion. You guys are much closer. I'm out of the loop now, 2 years removed from being in South Bend. But from the outside looking in, with the way Notre Dame has, how do I say it? They have not financed the basketball program in a lot of reporters' eyes. I ask you this. To me, it seems like Notre Dame has given up on Coach Shrewsbury, but they don't want to get rid of him at this time. So what do you do with a coach you don't believe in? You're not going to throw a whole lot of money into the process. So to me, it just feels like that the end might be coming here over the next year or two. I think it should be a whole lot better, don't you think, than it is right now. Sure, when Mike Bray left, he had to rebuild it, but we're deep into this. And guys, you can go from an 8-win team to a 25-win team very easily in college basketball now with the new rules and the ability to bring in players. So I'm just not one, as I read some of the so-called experts in the media in South Bend make excuses for him. I'm kind of tired of hearing the excuses. It's not hard to turn around a college basketball program anymore. But I just wonder if Notre Dame's all in on him anymore, because if it's true they haven't totally thrown all the money their way or his way, it makes you wonder a little bit.
Well, and I'm thinking along the same lines, but I'm going to go along and expand that to women's basketball and baseball. They have not brought in any, quote, big names in the last few years either. And I think it's because the majority, give it a number, a percentage, I think it's got to be in the 90% of whatever money they have, it's going to football. And I think when football wins a national championship, if and when, then they're going to say, okay, we've mission accomplished. Now we're going to give some more money to baseball. We're going to give some more money to the women. We're going to give some more money to soccer. We're going to give some more money to men's basketball. And, oh, by the way, we might change coaches at the same time, as you implied.
Well, I just look at Notre Dame women's basketball. I have no idea, but can't we assume that they probably gave a few dollars to Hannah Hidalgo to keep her around? Because I'm sure there's a lot of programs that probably inquired to see if she would take this amount of money and transfer. I remember talking to a media member who covers Notre Dame women's basketball. Was it this offseason? I think so. But they had some money to spend, and there was a big-time player that wanted 7 figures, and they wanted to get 2 players for that amount. If that is accurate, that's a pretty good chunk of change to improve their basketball team. So if Notre Dame women's basketball had that type of money to spend on so-called 2 players, then I find it hard to believe that Notre Dame men's basketball doesn't have at least that much to spend. Or again, the women's program is highly successful. The men's program is right now just kind of a mess. So maybe you invest in the bigger and better program at this particular time. Because again, you look at Marcus Burton. Could Notre Dame basketball pay Marcus Burton the way Notre Dame women's basketball did Hannah Hidalgo? Apparently not, because now he's playing for Indiana University. And I've read excerpts from him that he really didn't want to leave. So I assume that it came down to money.
Darren, I think that's a great point, because, you and I have been around here a long time, and it just seems to me that basketball has always been that step behind football. Let's invest in football. We redid the stadium. Now we've got the new Shields building. That's basically football. What are we doing for basketball? And I think you're right. I sometimes think that the university sees football as king. And going to your point, Coach Pat, if they win a national championship, okay, that's done. Now let's move on to other sports. And I think basketball is really taking a back seat to football at the university. Would you agree with that?
I mean, I think it's always kind of been the case. I mean, you guys
I think
remember
it's-
how long did it take Mike Bray to get his own practice facility?
It's true. Yeah.
And they took an old student center and they
Mhm.
turned it into a basketball facility for the men and the women. Mike was begging and pleading
Yeah.
just to get that for years. And I know the old saying is they don't start building at Notre Dame until they have all the funding. Well, while Mike was trying to get that done, I mean, let's be perfectly honest. The Notre Dame hockey team had a donor that put up the money for the Compton family ice arena. The Compton family financed that facility or it would not have occurred. So it was one of those situations. They wanted that money to go toward a hockey arena, not to be used for something else. So Notre Dame was the benefactor from a hockey standpoint that someone wanted to donate to their program. You just didn't see that with the basketball program. Now, this is just my opinion, but being here in Illinois and going to the State Farm Center to watch an Illinois basketball game, it feels like a big time event. I went to Purcell Pavilion for 25 years while I was there. It never really felt like it was a marquee venue. Even when Duke came to town or North Carolina, it just felt like a JV arena. So to play into your point, Notre Dame basketball just has never had the big finance other than the renovation of now what we call Purcell Pavilion. There hasn't been that big donor to step up and throw a lot of money at them. I'm sure if someone donated the money, they would put it to good use.
Yeah, so
Right.
I don't buy what Pat said about the fact that, well, if Notre Dame football wins a national championship, then some of the other sports will get more money because if Marcus Freeman and the Irish win the national championship in football this year, and by the way, it could happen. If everybody stays healthy and if CJ Carr stays healthy, when you look at their schedule, when you look at the defense that they have coming back, when you look at the skill people that they have, it could happen this year. So now all of a sudden, if they win the national championship, is Bavacqua going to go to Marcus and say, listen, Marcus, you can't get $50 million now. We're only going to give you 30 because we're going to give the other sports more money. No, that is not happening. It will continue. It will continue at whatever level they're at now. Right?
Well, I think just using you, Coach, as an example, when you're at Anderson, just hypothetically speaking, let's say the football program was way behind the basketball program and you had sold out building all the time and you guys were making a lot of money and you guys won sectional and regional titles. You made it to semi-state. Would you offer money to go to the football team to help them out, or would you keep it because you earned it?
Yeah, you keep it and you continue to build your program. Now, is it up to the athletic department to go out and find some donors? Hell yeah, it is. But it's not going to come at the expense of the football program. And because, hey, by the way, you guys won the national championship. Great job. Now you're going to give me $20 million back. And I saw this figure. I think there are 8 schools. In the roster building in the NCAA football, there are 8 schools that are at the $50 million roster figure. $50 million to build out their roster. Some of the schools are Texas Tech, Miami, Ohio State, and by the way, Notre Dame's in the top 8. So Notre Dame's in that top 50 million. So now, Marcus, great job, baby. Nice job. Man, we got another statue. We got another national championship. You're back down to 35 million. No, it's not going to happen. They may say, Marcus, we got to keep you there. Here's another 10 million. And then you go to like Indiana, and I think theirs is at 40 million. And then the next like 10 or 15 are at 40 million. And so Kurt, you know what Curt Cignetti says? I ain't even in the top 8. I'm coaching my brains out. This is how we're doing it. And he can spin that a little differently because he's not in the top echelon of roster building finances.
Isn't it amazing how NIL leveled the playing field in college football from the standpoint the SEC was untouchable for over a decade, and now everyone has the opportunity to spend money And the Big Ten, with all their big alumni bases, are throwing money at their football programs. And now all of a sudden the Big Ten is past the SEC. It's kind of remarkable. It's interesting because the thought was there was always a lot of money circulating down to the SEC. And now that it's legal, the Big Ten has shown they've got some pretty big checkbooks, and now all of a sudden 3 straight national titles. It's kind of interesting, and the Big Ten has beaten the SEC head-to-head. Look at Illinois. They've won the last 2 bowl games, beating South Carolina and Tennessee. So even in the middle of the pack in the Big Ten, they're doing very well against the SEC.
That's the place to be right now. And, one of the things that I saw too, and it kind of stretches into pro football, is the NIL is actually helping the NFL, because with this new 5-for-5 rule, they're now going to be recruiting and drafting 23 and 24-year-olds instead of 21 and 22-year-olds, and using the college basically as a feeder program. That 5th year is going to be a huge deal, and with the one transfer allowed, I think it's going to continue. They just need to get the NIL under control. I was at Elkhart today. And we're talking.
Does Elkhart have NIL going yet?
No, but they're talking about recruiting, and it was just interesting how they were talking about the class of 27. Those people are getting pushed aside for the class of 28, because the class of 28 is part of the 5-for-5 rule, and the kids that are going to graduate in 27 are probably going to get neglected because of the NIL, and they're going to have to go to a junior college or a smaller college, and then work their way into a position where they can, possibly play, Division I, later on down the road. So,
Wow.
Hey, while we're at it, let me look here. Scott has your game film. You want to?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull this up, and you may have.
I'll hit play.
Pardon me, Scott.
I'm on. I can hit play.
Well, yeah.
He's hitting. Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Hit play.
Put the sound on it, because Darren said his voice is on here. So let's.
Oh my gosh! What up?
The senior takes the snap, rolling to his left, going deep, lowing for Roberson, near the end zone. He's being held, diving catch, touchdown Roberson, with the defensive back all over him. What a play! Roberson made the catch on 4th and 2. Incredible! Cyclones lead 26-20.
Well, there you
One-handed
go.
catch.
You know,
Pretty sweet,
the only
wasn't it?
thing you were missing was "Holy Buckeye."
No, so like I would ask you, I would say, so how do you like it over there? How do you like being out of South Bend? How do you like it? And obviously, with your
Thanks,
new
Scott.
wife and everything, all that stuff is really cool. But to hear the excitement in your voice on that call, I don't even have to ask you how you like it, because it sounds to me like you're having a blast over there.
Well, to be perfectly honest, first off, I grew up here in Central Illinois, and the plan was after the kids got out of high school, I wanted to come back. And honestly, I was not expecting to stay in radio. And if I can be 100% honest, the owners who took over our radio stations in South Bend 15 years ago absolutely sucked the love of radio out of me. It was a horrible organization. I'm glad to be away from it. And coming here to Springfield with this group, it's like the old Shores family. It's a family-oriented group. I love radio again, and the passion is back in my voice, which I'm really, really happy about. I mean, I was kind of mailing it in the last 5-6 years, just being not very happy with the situation I was in, but being here has been awesome. Absolutely loving it, covering high school sports again. We treat it like it's the NFL, or we treat it like it's Notre Dame, because people here, we don't have Notre Dame in our town to cheer for. It's all about high school sports. So my morning show is dedicated to high school football almost every day, with Bears and Illini mixed in. I'm absolutely having a blast, Coach. It's great to be kind of close to being back home. I miss a lot of things about South Bend, the people. I miss doing Notre Dame hockey, to be honest with you, but I'm in a really, really good place right now. And I'm sitting here, you guys were talking about NIL and Elkhart. My guy, Buddy Bender, look at this. I got money for you right here, Coach, for NIL. Let's get that thing going. So there we go. We got cash ready to spend to get my Coach Bodie another player or two there in Elkhart if he needs it.
Well,
That's
I mean,
funny.
and we laugh about that and make a joke about it. And
Yeah.
so what did you hold up? A single, or was that a 10, or is that 100?
Oh, that was a big 100.
Okay, beautiful. The fact that you even got one now is amazing, because I just use a card. But anyway, here's a great question for you, because when I came back home to South Bend, I've been out of South Bend for 40 years. I mean, coaching everywhere. When I came back home to South Bend, it was so freaking cool, because I could go to the store. I could see a guy I hadn't seen for a long time. I could see some families. I could maybe see a girl I used to date a long, long time. And I'd say, man, it is so cool to see you. So do you ever run into people that you grew up with and that you haven't seen in a while?
Oh, absolutely. Play golf with them. I grew up 20 minutes basically from Springfield where I work. So it's been great to see people I hadn't seen in 30, 35 years. So that's been very, very cool. But yeah, it just, I don't know. You know, sometimes you just need to get back home. And again, I didn't think I was going to stay in radio. While I was working toward the end at WSBT, I was actually a teacher's helper at Mary Frank Elementary School in the Penn District, because I was just checking to see if this is something I might be interested in doing and teaching kids and maybe getting into coaching. So my mindset was my radio days were done, because again, I didn't love it anymore because of the environment I was in, but I had the opportunity to come here. Somebody in the organization here remembered me when I was a broadcaster just starting out here, and it worked out perfectly. And actually the company in South Bend who owns WSBT owns stations here in Springfield. Our group bought them. And because of that sale, the morning show is now a possibility. So it's kind of weird how things work out in a very, very strange way. But yeah, I was thinking my radio days were done, and magically here I am, and I'm thrilled to be back doing it in a place I love working.
Yeah, and that's really cool. But at the end of the day, your outstanding resume speaks for itself also. I mean, the number of years that you spent behind the mic and the number of years you spent talking about whether it be high school teams or the University of Notre Dame, that body of work was outstanding. So all anybody had to do was pull up the archives and hear the great Darren Pritchett. And when somebody made a 3-point shot, what was that call again?
You betcha.
You betcha. No, I can't.
Which I didn't have to say with my son.
No. I worked a few high school basketball games with you, and the first time it happened, someone makes a 3, and you go, "You betcha," and I'm looking at you like,
That's his boom,
really?
That's his
All
Bobby
the good
Lerner.
phrases are gone, Coach. I mean, through the years, everybody's stolen the good ones. It's hard to find something different.
I
Yeah,
guess.
no, you betcha is really cool. So you did mention your son Cooper. Cooper had a really good junior college career,
Yeah.
and signed, I would assume, a good scholarship at IUSB. Is going to be playing college baseball here in town. Is going to be a Titan at IUSB. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, as an Illinois fan, to see his IU hat he has to wear, I'm cringing a little bit. So I'm waiting for something that says IU South Bend on it before I buy it, because I'm just one of those people that can't let things go.
Just can't have
But
the red.
no, I'm excited for him. He had a great sophomore year at Lake Michigan College. I think he ended up hitting 370 with like a 490 on base, playing third base. He fractured his thumb, so he missed the last 3 weeks, but really appreciative that IU South Bend wants his services. And I think he wanted to stay close to home. There were a couple other schools that contacted him, but being close to home, I think, was something he was interested in. So I'm looking forward to getting back to South Bend once we get the season started, and heading up there a couple of times to watch a little baseball action with IUSB. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's cool. He gets to play 2 more years. And as you were talking, he was mentioning in a meeting that the AD was talking about, you might have 3 years left. So who knows how many years left he
You
has
never know.
with baseball.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. But here's a question, and I'll pose it to you two guys too. So, okay, CJ Carr, he came in, he sat a year, right? His second year, he gets the starting job. Is that correct?
Yep.
His third year, he's going to be the starter and be a Heisman candidate. So he could have another 2 years to play, but he could elect then to go after this year
Correct,
to
yeah.
the NFL.
He could, yes.
So why would he not just want to stay at Notre Dame, have 3 hots in a cot, continue making the money? Or will the fact of him being a number 1 draft pick, is that too much of a lure to get him to the NFL?
I mean, Coach, I've already seen mock drafts where he goes number 7 to Cleveland. So if
Well,
he's a top 10 pick, I mean, that's a big
if
chunk
I'm
of
CJ
change.
and you said Cleveland,
I'd be
I'm back
saying-
at school. I got 3
I know.
hots in the cot. I'm going back to Notre Dame. I ain't going
Call
to
DeShone
Cleveland, man.
Kaiser.
Well,
Brady Quinn.
A lot of that's got to do with, let's see how Mendoza does out in Vegas. This year being the first round pick. Hey, I have a question for you. How close are you to Chatham? Like 15, 20 miles?
Yeah,
Where-
I'm about 20 minutes away.
Where's my boy Dan Rourke? Because I know he lives there on what he calls the S curve in Chatham. Is he still doing radio?
Yeah, he's still doing radio. I think he is actually trying to become a political figure. He's in an election
I think I
this year.
saw that. That's right.
So that's something new. But he won a state championship in football at Glenwood, and
Right.
he is one of our radio analysts on our radio station for Glenwood football. So I've really enjoyed to get to know him. And he was a big St. Louis Cardinal football fan back in the day, went down to Texas and just decided to be a Cowboy fan. So I'm going to try to get him off that. But
Okay.
other than that, Coach is awesome, and he speaks highly of you when we talk about you. And I think he should be a guest on this show at some point. You guys can
We
tell some
should.
pretty good stories.
I can imagine. Well, his son lives up here in Osceola now, so
Yeah.
he keeps talking about coming up for a Notre Dame ball game. I'm trying to get in a position where I can call his bluff on that and say, okay, why haven't you been up here? But if he's working on Friday nights, that's going to be a tough travel for him.
Well, I'll tell you what,
It'd have to
there's
be a night game.
right. There's a huge Notre Dame fan base here in Springfield. And I've learned that because when I started, I got introduced as
Sure.
being with,
Mhm.
around Notre Dame for 25 years. And people come up and want to talk Notre Dame football. And it's a big Notre Dame town. A lot of folks go up for the games. And Sacred Heart Griffin is a parochial school. They haven't had, I think, a player go up there in a while. But yeah, this is a big Notre Dame town. They love the Illini, but Irish football is big around here too.
All right, now we've kind of talked around the edges, him-hawed a little bit. Now let's get down to the nuts and
I was
bolts.
getting ready to see how
All
long
right,
this
now we're going to
lasts.
get to the nuts and
Uh-oh.
bolts. I freaking like the Cardinals' young players in baseball. I like the guys that they're bringing up. I kind of like what they're doing. Give me your opinion.
Well, this guy, Jordan Skywalker,
I love it.
he has really turned the corner. I mean, he has turned into the guy we all expected when he was drafted first several years ago. So his development's huge. Alec Burleson has 99 RBI this year. I know some people don't like RBI anymore. So that's
I
all
do.
fine and dandy. The Baez kid that had the 3 home runs against the Cubs, he's not even the top prospect. The guy, the guy, Coach, you're going to be annoyed by, his name is Raniel Rodriguez. He's at Double-A Springfield. He's only 19 years old, hitting .320. He's got close to 20 home runs this year. His on base is close to 400, and he's not exactly built like Moises Ballesteros, the old Cub, but he has a little bit of that frame to him. But man, this guy can absolute swing it. Only 19 years old doing that at Double-A. He hit 2 home runs Sunday and 2 home runs Tuesday. So
I'm going to tell you,
Cardinals
I'm
are
going
really
to tell
excited
you.
about him. They're developing pitching. So if we could ever get through the lockout, I think they're 2 years away from being really, really good with the players they're developing right now in the minor league system.
I'm going to tell you who bothers me every time the Cubs play him is the dandy little second baseman, J.J. Weatherholt. He's always getting on base. He's getting a big hit. He's going to steal a bag, a great defender. He could be maybe a little, have some Tommy Herr in him. But J.J. Weatherholt, they locked him up. They locked him up with a contract. Talk about him for a minute.
Well, he's a first-round pick out of West Virginia, and he can play shortstop. He's actually playing short right now with Mason Went out injured, but he's a second baseman, and he is according to the metrics, the number one defensive second baseman in Major League Baseball. And he has been spectacular. Offensively, he's gotten a little fatigued the last month and a half. He's been rolling over a lot, so his numbers aren't as good as maybe they should be. I think he's going to learn from going through the league one time now and be more prepared for the long grind. But his upside is tremendous. So when you've got Weatherholt, Burleson, and Walker to build around, and then the couple other kids coming, I think they feel really good about how quick this rebuild is going to take place.
Yeah, Blaze Jordan, man. Come on, you got to mention Blaze Jordan a little bit. He had some big hits against the Cubs.
Yeah, he's kind of a filler right now. He's not the long-term answer. He had a 3-run homer today, and then I think he might have fractured his ankle. His ankle looked like it went a different direction on a play at third base, so he's probably going to be done for a little while. But they have a hole in center field and a hole at third base, so they've got some work to do. But the young pitching they're developing gives them a fighting chance because they're not going to be able to spend like the big market teams. But if we get a salary cap and we level the playing field a little bit, I'm excited about the possibilities because the Cardinals payroll is $91 million right now. So when teams like the Dodgers and Yankees have to dump salary, if we get a salary cap, the Cardinals could swoop in and maybe get some of that talent because they've got, if the bottom of the salary cap is going to be $175 million. They've got to spend $80 million to get there, so they might be able to add a couple of key players.
Okay, Johnny B. Goods is a great Detroit Tiger fan. Will there be a salary cap?
There needs to be.
Well, no, I know there needs to be a lot of things, but will there be?
I think there will be. I think to level this playing field, you have to have a salary cap because the Yankees and the Dodgers are spending like it's growing on trees.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yes, there will be one.
But the players' union, they will sit and they will not play baseball. They will fight tooth and nail to not have a salary cap.
Yes, they will.
Right?
Yeah.
So there will be no baseball. There will be no baseball. And someone is going to have to budge. Now, Pat's not a great baseball guy, but do you think there will be a salary cap in this new CBA?
I don't know enough about it to have a comment. It's just stuff I've haven't followed. So don't even ask because my answer would be a very amateur.
So I agree with you, but I don't think that there's any way that that's ever going to happen, Darren. Do you?
I just don't know how this is all going to happen because the players' union, they are dug in. They are not going to do anything involving a salary cap. And what do you do with all the deferred money? The Dodgers have $1 billion in deferred money they have to pay. What do you do with that money? Is that just grandfathered in and then you get rid of deferred money? There's so much that has to be figured out. It gives me a headache, but
I would Bobby Bonilla those people and pay them till they're 65.
Well, no, that's just. You're still getting paid by WSBT, right, Darren?
Yeah. I wish, but Ohtani's making $2 million a year. That's it. The rest is deferred. It's ridiculous.
I know he's going to be 120 and bringing home 10 mil. I know Bobby Bonilla. I agree 100%. Johnny, you got anything?
No, I'm good.
For Darren? You got anything left for Darren?
I'm just glad I got to see Darren again. We did spend some years together there at WSBT, and I've always appreciated what Darren's done and the reporting that he's done. He's a great radio broadcaster, and sorry to see him go. And Darren, I would agree with you. That was one of the reasons I left WSBT. The environment just was not good after Scher sold, and I was losing my oomph, and that's why I kind of got out when I did, and I'm happy too. I'm glad you are as well. It's always good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, good to see you too. And the old saying is sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Well, in our cases, it was. So sometimes you just got to make a change and you hope it works out. And knock on wood, it's worked out really well. And it's fun being close to the Illini and going to Cardinal games. So I missed a lot of things through the years. So I'm kind of making up for that being back here. But it's always great to talk to you guys. It's an important week for high school football in South Bend. Go Cavemen, beat Penn. Hopefully Coach Kinder is going to be able to pull that off. We'll always be pulling for them and always rooting for Coach Bender over at Elkhart. I think the world of him, and I wish him nothing but the best with that Elkhart program.
Bodie had a nice run with that group, with Brady Fisher, with Cooper, and Rashawn Johnson. He had a really nice run with those guys, and I mean, he was in a situation where he wanted that. He wanted to get that Elkhart job, and I'm so glad that the opportunity opened up for him, and he was able to get it. He coaches hard, man. He coaches his brains out, and he's one of us when it comes to coaching, man.
Well, I think, what was it, Coach? The Cavemen's last regional title was in 1957 until that group won one a couple of years ago. I worry that the one we saw a couple of years ago, it might be a good amount of time before we see something like that again. A lot has to change to get back to that level.
Without question. Hey, listen, thank you so much for giving us a couple of minutes. It's always great to talk to somebody who I just respect so much.
Right back at you guys.
And yeah, I mean, thank you so much. So in the springtime, when you're going to come in town and watch a little baseball, you got to come into Corby's Irish Pub and come in and do it live here, man.
I'll tell you what, we did some great shows there back in the day. Had a lot of fun there, and would really love to do that. And for Coach King, I know you're big into golf. I want to pass along something to you. With all the changes happening on the PGA Tour, we had Dan Reardon, longtime KMOX golf reporter, on one of our afternoon sports shows while the playoff was going on in St. Louis last week. Right. And we have a Corn Ferry Tour stop here in Springfield, which is a great tournament. We had a bunch of PGA Tour players drop down and played in it when it was here just about a month and a half ago. But with all the changes and the two different levels on the PGA Tour now, with the championship and challenger level, Dan said that the Corn Ferry Tour, the number one player of the Corn Ferry Tour, will now be the 240th ranked player. So this is really going to drain a lot of the good players out of the Corn Ferry Tour. I'm not sure how all this is going to work. It feels like that the guys that are on the Champions Tour are going to play for $20 million, and the Challenger Tour, they're going to play for $2 or $3 million. So big changes are coming for golf. I hope it works out, but the best players have said people tune in on TV to see the big names, not player number 125 in the world ranking. So I guess they're getting their way now. They're going to have the opportunity to make the most money, play on the elite tour. So I hope all this works out. I love the PGA Tour, but I really need to see how all this is going to play out. It's going to be a unique golf tour in a couple of years.
It's going to be a very elite group of people. Hey, Darren, appreciate you.
Thanks, D.
All right, guys. Good to see you.
All right. Take care.
That is the great Darren Pritchett from Springfield, Illinois, who was just a fixture. And John, you can talk about this because you were and still are a fixture in this area. And what I think Darren said, he was here for 25 years.
Yes. Yeah, he sure was. And Darren did such a great job. Notre Dame hockey. Obviously, they did weekday sports beat. They did a lot of Notre Dame football pregame stuff. And Darren put his heart and soul into this. And I could tell the last few years that Darren was here, he was not happy because you could just kind of tell the calls weren't as crisp and as fun as with that call we saw on the video. I think the environment that we worked in at that time was kind of toxic at times. And when I heard that he left, it was hard to see him leave. But I think for him and his career, he's resurrected it now there in Springfield. And I think just talking to him tonight, I see he's happy, and that's what you want to be ultimately, because when you're happy, especially in this business, and Kenny can attest to this too, when you're happy, you're going to give your best product each time you go behind a microphone.
Yeah, and people can tell that. How long have you been in this area?
I've been in this area my whole life.
So how long have you been in either the radio or the podcast?
This is my 40th year in the broadcast industry. Yep, I've been behind a microphone for 40 years.
Wow.
Yes. Yep. From the first time I graduated to today. Yep. 40 years.
That's old. 1985.
86.
1986, the year after the Bears won the Super Bowl.
They did the Super Bowl shuffle when I graduated.
Yeah. And you're a Detroit Lion fan, and it broke your heart.
It broke my heart to see them do the Super Bowl shuffle. Yeah,
well, hey, listen, why doesn't Scott take us out and throw a couple commercials on, and we'll come back and finish this up for about a half hour talking about some other sporting things. And
quick break to get a word from our sponsors. Hahn Funeral Homes, located at 505 West 8th Street in Mishawaka, continues a proud tradition built on one promise: a family serving families. With deep roots in the community, Hahn Funeral Homes offers traditional burial, cremation services, and now pet cremation options, providing compassionate care for every member of the family. Families in Mishawaka have long trusted Hans to guide them with dignity, understanding, and personal attention through life's most difficult moments. For more information, visit them online at hanfuneralhomes.com or call 574-255-1474. Han Funeral Homes, a family serving families. Are you thinking about retirement? I'm not, but the Harbor Group Planned Wealth helps you answer the big questions like when to draw Social Security, how to manage investment risk, and what health insurance might cost. Wondering if you can earn part-time income after 62 without losing benefits, or if retiring could actually feel like getting a raise. They've got answers and a plan to guide you. Call VP Jessica Rhodes at 765-393-1074 or email jessica@harborgroup.com or visit harborgroup.com. That's harborgroup, HARBER.com. Williams Family Chiropractic Clinic in Granger is a family-focused practice dedicated to helping patients of all ages, from newborns to pro athletes like LaFonso Ellis, and everyone in between. They offer high-level chiropractic care, including digital X-ray diagnostics, physiotherapy, and non-surgical spine decompression. To learn more, Google Williams Family Chiropractic Clinic. Visit them at 6910 North Main Street, Suite 5 in Granger, or email info@drzachwilliams.com, or you can call 574-271-1111. Williams Family Chiropractic Clinic. Care for the whole family. Are you craving something delicious? Aren't we always? Savory Kernel Popcorn offers over 100 incredible popcorn flavors, plus a brand new flavor of the week. Right now, you can grab a small bag that's 6 full cups of their featured flavor for just $5, even on specialty creations. It's the perfect way to try something new at a great discount. This week's featured flavor is jalapeno cheddar. Sounds pretty good. Stop by and see them at 109 East University Drive in Granger, right in the same shopping plaza as Super Target and across from my favorite store in the world, Menards, or call 574-404-6233.
Medicare plans can be confusing, but they don't have to be. I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I can help you compare your options because I'm appointed with many nationally recognized carriers. With my help, you can find the coverage that fits your needs and budget. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Letcher today to schedule your free consultation or visit tletcher.com.
Back to Coach's Corner in just 1 second. One final word from our OG supporters, the Black Sedan Band. It's not a conflict of interest at all that the drummer is Heck's brother. No, no, no. They're great. They've been great. They're going to stay great. If you want, they do travel, even though they're headquartered in Birmingham, Alabama. They do travel. So if you want a great cover band, you go to blacksedanband.com or check out their YouTube channel after you're done watching us. Now, back to Heck and King.
Yeah, what a great round of commercials put together by, I think, the greatest producer in podcast history, and the great Scott King.
That's my boy. That's my boy. Hey, let's talk a little bit. We're talking about baseball. Talk to me about. I was going to talk about the Little League, but let's talk about the WNBA just for a second.
Yeah, I'm really getting tired of it.
I don't,
to be quite honest with you.
I don't enjoy watching the ball games. I really never have. But it's just interesting. If you watch the Fever games, there's always drama.
Oh, every game. Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the game. There's always some little side drama going on that has nothing to do with the game, and then it carries over into the game. And then after the game's over, the press conferences have very little to do with the game. They have something to do with something that happened out in the bleachers.
Yeah, well, something that happened in the bleachers just recently. Ex-NBA player, and I don't know, John, maybe you picked up on this story a little bit. Enes Kanter Freedom, about a 6'10", 6'11", former NBA center, power forward, whatever you want to call him, supporting transgender athletes in the NBA, is over in Chicago, goes to the Chicago Sky game wearing a T-shirt, Women Now, noun, adult, human, female. And he's wearing this T-shirt, and obviously he's promoting transgender. in the NBA, and
He wants to play.
and transgender should be allowed in the WNBA. So there's a timeout called. He's getting into it with a player from the Sky, Natasha Cloud, and he's screaming something at her. She walks towards him. He walks onto the court. Now, this is a fan walking onto the court, which is a flat no-no.
Right.
Obviously, he gets ejected from the game. I mean, right away, security comes, and it's to me, it is way, way out of hand.
It's way out of hand. It's getting ridiculous. The focus is shifted to a political issue, and not what people go to pay the money for to play a game, to watch a game. It's too political. I'm done with the WNBA.
Now,
I really am.
Let's be clear. He is promoting that women, since you're allowing, quote, anybody that wants to identify as a female can play. He's calling their bluff. He's on Sophie Cunningham's side, where Sophie Cunningham obviously has come out and said, we have the WNBA for a reason. It's for biological women. So he and a couple of the other players are saying, okay, can I play? I'm a girl now. I just decided I'm going to be a girl. And it goes along with one. I can't remember what the guy's name is. He lives in Nashville. He said, I'm going to get an expansion team, and we're going to call them the Nashville Balls. And all I'm going to have is former NBA players that we're going to say, okay, we're now all women, and we're going to be we're going to go join the WNBA.
Yeah,
so they're calling their bluff.
I mean,
the owners and the commissioner don't have an answer.
Well, the answer is, I guess you could wear any kind of T-shirt you want to.
Absolutely.
You're allowed to buy a ticket and go into a game.
Yep.
But when you cross the line of walking onto the court and getting into it with an NBA, a WNBA player, then you're done.
Yes.
Now,
absolutely.
if you have a statement, make your statement. But it has nothing to do with crossing that line on the court.
Right.
And
Exactly.
Sophia Cunningham has taken a stance, and good for her.
And right along with Riley Gaines in the swimming.
And good for them.
Yeah.
I mean, you were born a certain gender, and that's the gender that you should continue to be a part of. And if you choose to change genders, I'm sorry, but what you came into this world as is how you have to be judged, whether you can play WNBA or if you're a wrestler and you want to be involved in female wrestling, but you started out as a male, can't do it.
Well,
I mean, it's not even a situation where it's a political situation.
And now Sunday is the last game before they take their break, because they have a big FIBA tournament coming up where they're going to be playing, countries against countries, and they've already come out and said that it's going to be women only, and they're going to do whatever testing they have to do to make sure it is women only. So I guess my question is, where's Brittany Griner fit into this story? Because
I don't know.
I don't know.
What's the story with Brittany Griner?
Did you see the picture when they said there was a picture that came out? Now I don't know if it's authentic or not. When she was released from the Russian prison, she had a full beard.
Well, that's the product of probably some testosterone and some steroids and things like that. Back in the 60s, the East German the East German track team, female track team,
they must have loaded her up,
loaded up on steroids and
too.
testosterone, and they got the gold medal stripped and taken away because they all started growing beards. But they weren't. It wasn't a deal where they were males before they had injected themselves with enough testosterone. But I mean, it's sad that we live in a world where that is now become an issue. And I know there was a female playing some little league baseball and a really good pitcher, and that's happened before. They've allowed some females to maybe play in a little league deal,
we've
right?
seen that. Yeah, we've seen that.
And I don't think that really ever caught a lot of attention because it was quickly put to rest when the kids grew up and either went to the Babe Ruth level or went to the high school level, but now it's just it's a big issue, and it's probably one on this the Simpleton podcast that we probably shouldn't tackle, right?
Well, we could.
As the owner of the company,
we're not going to solve it.
No, we're not going to solve it. I don't know if we really need to tackle it.
The
either,
other issue, if you remember a couple games ago down in the Atlanta game, they had the Dream played. A mother and daughter went to the game with T-shirts on that said XXXY, and they were asked in the fourth quarter to cover these up, and they were given Atlanta Dream T-shirts to cover them. But then the league came back and apologized and said that should not have happened. So there's just so much drama going on.
Yeah.
And I guess bottom line is, why is the NBA allowing this to happen? Because they're subsidizing the WNBA, which is a failing business. If you think about it, it's no secret that they lose millions of dollars every year. Now, if I had somebody that was getting money from me and they were a failing business and they were acting like this, where they're turning people away, the only games that they have, if you look, the Fever are selling out everywhere they go. Every other game, they're getting 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people at ball games.
but why is that?
Because nobody wants to watch them.
No. Why is the Fever selling out?
Because of one or two players.
Caitlin Clark, and Kelsey Mitchell, and Sophia Cunningham. And what Caitlin Clark has done for the league has been just bountiful. And the things that she has been able to get done without even trying to get them done, but just the popularity that the league has gained because of her ability to play. And when I say that, I mean they have their own planes now. They have their own flights. They're not on flights with other people. They're chartered flights.
She's going through the same thing that Maravich did back in the 70s.
Absolutely.
Because if you remember, the NBA was no big deal. They had no TV contract, no nothing. They were on like every Sunday. If you remember when we were growing up, they had a Sunday afternoon game at 2:00. I think it was ABC with Chris Schenkel. They had one game a week.
Chris Schenkel.
All right. And it was normally the Celtics and the Knicks, or the Knicks and the Sixers. And it was all East Coast. That's all you saw. It was a 2:00 game. That's usually when I took my nap, fell asleep, and woke up to see who was playing in the fourth quarter. Maravich shows up, scores 40 a game in college, and all of a sudden everybody wants to sing. But then the other people, there was that jealousy. Hey, what about us? Well, their girls are going through the same thing right now. They're going through the same thing.
Speaking of Chris Schenkel, and I know our listeners will like this, and hopefully Chad Kirk's listening. Where did Chris Schenkel live?
Lake Wawasee.
God, are you smart? It's a Butler graduate right here. It's a Butler graduate.
Butler education.
That's Butler education, man.
I guessed Wawasee. I didn't know if it was Tippy or Wawasee or Webster or one of those.
Wawasee.
It was Wawasee.
It was Wawasee. So Johnny, on August 14th, and I told you this before we went on the air, me and my lovely bride, because we now have this deal where we're going to try and go to every major league ballpark. We went to Comerica.
There you go.
Watched the Tigers against the White Sox. What I thought was the Tigers aren't very good.
No, they're not.
But the park is beautiful.
Great, it is. Isn't it?
Park is beautiful, and when you talk about the prices compared to Wrigley Field, because I'm a Cub guy, so I go to Wrigley Field a lot. I mean, the prices are reasonable. To get a hot dog, to get a drink or whatever you're going to drink. The prices are really, really reasonable.
Team's awful, but the entertainment's fun.
It was worth the drive, huh?
Oh, it was a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
The 3-hour drive to get to Detroit. Now, here's what we're talking about next year. We're talking about going and making this maybe a week to 10 days if we can choreograph it. We're talking about going to Pittsburgh to see the Pirates, then moving on to Philadelphia to see the Phillies, then going to Yankees, Mets, and Boston.
Oh, that'd be a cool trip.
A
Yeah.
nice swing up to the
You
northeast.
could come back Baltimore. You could actually go up to Toronto if you wanted to.
Yeah, no, I forgot about Baltimore. Why not go to Baltimore? Because
Go
you're
to
in that
Camden
same
Yards.
area.
Yeah, go to Camden Yards. Yeah,
Yeah.
Just saying.
that'd be
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to go to Canada yet because I just don't really want to. But Canada,
You
yeah, I
could
mean,
go to Buffalo. It's not too far. Just
Yeah.
across the bridge.
Yeah.
isn't it?
but Buffalo doesn't have a Major League Baseball. Pat, I know you don't like baseball, but Buffalo does not have a Major League Baseball
I'm
team.
just saying, if you can get to Buffalo, you can get to Toronto.
Oh, well, no, if you can get to
It's kinda like if
Detroit,
you can get to Detroit and go
Go
across the
across
bridge
the
to
bridge.
Windsor.
yeah, you can go to Canada, right?
Exactly. Go right across the bridge here to Windsor.
Yeah, yeah. So
You can take a train to Toronto. I know
Yeah.
that because Ball State played in a football game up there several years ago, and my daughter was in college.
okay, so speaking of taking a train, tell us about your trip that you're going to wrestle bison, right?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He's going to wrestle a buffalo.
We're not even going to get
So
to
you
who's
know
gonna
what-
win- and I know who's going to win that battle.
So you know what the word in Indian for buffalo is? So you should know this.
Tecumseh.
No, tatanka.
Oh,
Tatanka. I think that's
Well,
what it
that's
is.
not-
Monica would tell you. Monica.
that's more Crazy Horse area up
Tatanka.
there in this area. This is Custer's Last Stand area.
No, he's going to Montana.
I'm going to be a guest of the Butler football team. My college roommate and best friend, David Cunningham, from growing up, had a chance to take a friend with him, and how he came up with my name. It must have been way down the list.
Does he call you a friend? Does he identify you as a friend?
I'm looking at the list of people that he called ahead of time. Let's put it that way. But it got down to me. It got down to me. Anyway, I'm riding his coattails still 50 years later. We are going on the team charter to Butler out to Bozeman, Montana. They play Montana State Labor Day, Saturday night. And I'm going with the team. We're going the Friday night, staying all night. Got a Saturday night ball game. Got a red eye coming home. I'll be back home for breakfast on Sunday.
So I think that'll be a cool trip
So
for
that'll
you.
be
But so
fun.
no, so
That's
you can't
something-
do another football game. You're going to be missing a football game.
Yeah, he's missing a football game next week.
Am I?
As
Oh,
the
that's right.
owner of the company,
Yeah,
what's your
that's
thoughts
That's
on
right, I
that?
am, aren't I?
Is it 2 out of 3 weeks? I don't know. I think we have to have a meeting.
You need a freaking meeting.
Yeah, I'm going to say because I'm covering for him next
I
week
don't
at the
think
football game.
You wanted to go, but I don't think I've missed a game in 4 years.
All right.
Not
Now 2 out of 3
weeks.
2 out of 3.
I don't know. Can you put that on?
No, because I don't know how.
No, I mean on there.
You just have to show it to the camera. Scott could. I can't.
Okay. The WKRP, can you hold this in front of the camera? This picture.
You're going to put it pretty close.
Yeah, here,
Pretty close.
Here you go.
More closer.
A little closer.
Closer.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
For
there you
those
go. There you
perfect. Okay, hold that for a second. For those of you watching, that is the great Travis Doherty. Okay. Now back it up just a little. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you. So WKRP does a lot of things for this show. That is the great Travis Doherty. Travis Doherty was a great high school basketball player at Alexandria High School.
Right.
His dad was Stan Doherty, and Travis
Did
was
Travis play at Alec? Did he go play?
he
for
did
his
play
dad
it out.
Delta?
He played at Alec.
Okay.
And Travis Doherty then was the head coach at Chittard High School in Indianapolis. The last game in the Wigwam that was played was Anderson against Chittard. So Travis Doherty broke into the Wigwam somehow last week
Uh-oh.
and went into the visitors' locker room. The board that was on the visitors' locker room was the same board that was played.
They hadn't cleaned it off yet.
They had not cleaned it off in 16 years. And that was the information that was on there was the Chittard pregame that Travis Doherty was going over when they played the Indians
Oh, wow.
for the last game. That is, I mean, he went over personnel, Brandon McGee, Drake Coleman, Timmy Boyd, and Trey Boyd. Talked about what they wanted to do against us. I mean, early help, great closeouts, shot challenge, win your block out, hop in your step, confident, cocky, statement game for us. So that was still on the board in the visiting locker room.
That's good.
Isn't that amazing?
That's a keeper.
Yeah, and so one of the players that was on his team at that point in time was a player that you will remember. One of the Martin boys that played at Chittard, they both played at Notre Dame. Zach Martin, and I think Matt Martin was the other one.
Yeah.
Zach Martin,
and I don't know if it was Matt, but it was the other Martin.
yeah. And I think it was Zach Martin that played in that game.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And Zach Martin then went and had a great career with the Dallas Cowboys. And we did not have a good year that year. It was the only losing season that I had at Anderson. And we knew it was going to be the last game in the Wigwam. And so we really hyped it up. We had a great crowd, almost a sellout. We had a great crowd, and we ended up beating Chittard in that last game.
That's good that you won the last one.
Yeah, but to be able to see that board and be able to see
memories, didn't it?
Yeah, because you remember the boards that you put up in pregame, right?
Sure.
Here's the personnel, blah blah blah. Here's what we're going to do offensively. Here's what we're going to do defensively, blah blah blah.
It's still his handwriting and everything.
Yeah. It's something that Anderson never thought to go into the visitors' locker room and clean that board off. But so it got me to thinking, and I called Joey Bradburn, sent that to me. Joey Bradburn, the head coach of Mount Vernon, coached Travis Doherty's son last year. So Travis and Joey were close. Travis sent that to Joey. Got me thinking that I got on the horn real quickly to Doug Zook.
Yeah.
And I said, Zookie, I said, guys are breaking into the Wigwam and getting in. I said, I'm not going to drive 2.5 hours just on a whim to see if it's open. I said, you call somebody and see if you can get that open, if you can get the Wigwam open, and I'll drive down and, you and me can go through the Wigwam for a couple hours and
see what's left.
No. And I said, Doug, I said, can you get now? So all these shows are archived, right, John?
Absolutely, yes.
So I'm going to send this show to Zookie. And so, you know what Zookie said to me? Heck, I'll get it done.
There you go.
I'll get it done. You know what I said to him? We're going to go into my office, because in my office, I had a red rug, and in the middle of the red rug was a green A. In the locker room, in the varsity players' locker room, was a green rug. And in the middle of the green rug was a red A. So I said, Zookie, let's take care of this, and we'll go in the locker room and get those carpets. Because nobody's doing anything with it.
It's just sitting there, isn't it?
Just it's a crime.
It's like a time warp, because
I cry every day.
Earlier in the week that Horniker found, or somebody gave to Horniker, who has it, that Anderson website. And the side baskets are still just rolled off to the side.
I know. I saw
waiting to be used 15 years later.
So here's my deal.
I think they would have sold them or something.
If me and Zookie can get in, are you game?
I'll go.
Can you not sub that day? Can you take the day off? Or wait a minute, will you have to work a golf tournament?
Tell me what day it is. We'll see if we can fit it in.
Into your schedule. I'll call you. I'll call you a week ahead of time.
Talk to my people. And we'll see if we can.
Yeah, we'll get a lunch. Have your people and me get a lunch.
John, we're going to talk to some high school football real quick.
Yes.
Before we go. Talk to us about your podcast that you have with Drew, and then we'll lead that into some of these ball games we've got coming up this week.
Drew started a podcast a few years ago called 574 Sports, but life kind of got in his way a little bit. He got married and was changing some jobs, but now he's got it where we have 574 Sports Report. We're doing a podcast each week. It's pretty much dedicated to sports in Northern Indiana, a lot of high school stuff. And what we're doing is we're recording this and then we're putting it out. It's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, Spotify, any place you can get your podcast, like you can here with Coach's Corner with Heck and King. And we just had a great podcast the other night. We talked with the Logansport head coach for about 30 minutes. They're off to a great start. We're going to see them tomorrow night over here at Everwise School Field against South Bend Adams, but want to check it out. And hey, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, and that way we'll also do some more live ones. We did a live one with Kenny over at one of our New Prairie sponsors, Digsy Dogs and and Grill in New Carlisle on a Saturday afternoon.
Hudson Lake, right?
Yeah, we went beautiful Hudson Lake. We were there on a Saturday afternoon. We talked with several coaches, previewed the high school football season. So you can check it out on Facebook, YouTube, 574 Sports Report. Drew and I do that every week. It's also on broadcastsport.net, just like Coach's Corner is. So we've now got 2 podcasts here on the old company website.
We do.
You guys on Thursday night and Drew and I on Wednesday.
We do. You know, last week I was looking at some of the games. Of course, I was busy. We had some good first games, rivalry games up here. And, you know, we always talk about the progress from game 1 to game 2. And a lot of it, you see a lot of teams do a lot of, you know, progressing in a good way. You also see some teams that go the wrong direction because they're so hyped up for that first game.
Right.
Game 2, they come out and lay an egg. And that's going to be interesting because, for example, Elkhart had a great game, 22-20 with Concord. Tomorrow night, they've got Warren Central coming to town.
Ooh.
How's that? Warren
Yeah,
Central
but that's not.
they just beat Center Grove
they
last week.
Yeah.
But that's not a deal where there will be a letdown for Concord.
No.
It's not like Concord's going to play New Prairie or
Yeah.
Plymouth or something like that. Well, I'm sorry, WKRP.
Well, and-
I'm just being straight up.
And here, good example. Mishawaka beats up on Mishawaka Marion, which was kind of an emotional game because the coaches all knew each other because of the changes with Caldroni over at Marion. So it ends up 40-14. Mishawaka now has to turn around and play Penn tomorrow night.
Yeah, and
That
Mishawaka
should be a dandy.
Yeah, and
ball game.
Mishawaka will not have any hangover from that first W going into this Penn game because this Penn game is has always been a big game on their schedule, and they circle it when the schedule comes out every year. So in coaching, I was always aware of this, and I'm sure you were too, because we were involved in emotional games, and the bottom line and the greatest saying was, don't let what happened to you on this given night affect what's going to happen to you in your next game.
I agree. Well, and let's look at St. Joe, for example. St. Joe had a relatively easy time with Lakeland last week, and they try and play Fort Wayne South, tomorrow night. They should win rather easily.
Well, South's not bad. They won their first game.
Well, I know.
So I think St. Joe better be ready.
Well,
because, it's not. They should win.
They should win.
But again, there's that emotion. Both teams come in 1-0. We know what St. Joe can do offensively and defensively, but you got to be careful. Is your home opener. There's a lot of the emotion there at Father Bly Field, but Fort Wayne South's a much better team this year than they were a year ago.
And you said you're going to be at School Field tomorrow night, Logan Sport and South Bend Adams.
And that's going to go one of two ways. That's either going to be a huge Logansport win or it's going to be one of those games because Troy Hudson is a little concerned. They won the Baldini Trophy. Peru and
they played Peru last week.
Yeah, Peru and Logansport's one of the longest running rivalries in the state of Indiana, and they play for the Baldini Trophy because Coach Baldini played both at Logansport and Peru, coached at both places.
His
grandson is now playing for Logansport.
Well, he was the coach at Logan when I grew up, playing at Anderson.
Yeah.
So
they had that emotional win, and they won really well. But now
two railroad towns that are right next to each other.
Exactly. Now they got to come to play a South Bend Adams team who I think is going to be improved from a year ago. I watched them in their scrimmage. They've got Carson Bryce, their good running back. Of course, Caden Keene is back. Anthony Gooby has come back. He's the backup quarterback, and they're not bad. Their defense isn't too bad either, but I think Logansport just has too many horses running that wing T. That's hard to stop. And when you've got, a couple of 190 and 200-pound backs that they can rotate in and out of there, I think Adams is going to have their hands full. But that could be a good game tomorrow night at Everett School Field that Drew and I will have.
Logan runs the same kind of offense Mishawaka runs with the flex bone.
Yeah, so Adams and Frankie play in a slugfest against Culver Academy, and they come out of that winning 9-8.
9-8.
Yeah,
which for Adams,
the opening kickoff, and then they don't give up another point.
Which for Adams, anytime you can be in that positive win column is huge. It's huge for the psyche for any South Bend team.
Yes.
Let's face it, we have 4 South Bend teams now. We have Adams, we have Riley,
3 publics and a private.
we have Washington, So I was going more and I was wrong. So we have 3 public schools now in South Bend, and football has not been a strong suit in any of those 3 public schools. And I think for a variety of reasons, and I don't know, because it's certainly not true in basketball.
Well, that's, we were talking to Darren at the college level, with Notre Dame football, basketball, it's kind of taking a back seat. It's just the opposite here in South Bend for high schools. Basketball's still king, and football is what you do in the fall.
Well, yeah, but it's not that way. It's not that way at Mishawaka Marion. It's not that way at South Bend St. Joe. It's not that way at some other schools.
Mm-hmm.
But in the city here, I don't know if it's a coach that just has to come in and say, because this is Keith Kinder at Mishawaka. All right, boys, our weight workout is 6 a.m. During the week, 6 a.m., 4 days a week. You're going to be there. We're going to hit the weights. And then after that, we're going to go on the field and do what we do. But is there a coach in South Bend that can get the kids out at 6 a.m. to be a dedicated group of kids in the weight room and all that kind of stuff? And I would say no. Just looking at it, I would say no. So would they have to hire some coach who is either a Keith Kinder disciple? I mean, Joe Caldrone is a Keith Kinder disciple. He's going to go in to Mishawaka Marion. He's going to set that exact program almost with a little bit of his flavor in it.
Right. Yep,
but he's going to run that same program. So would another Keith Kinder assistant coach or somebody like that, or a Bart Curtis assistant coach from Warsaw, would he come in to maybe South Bend Riley and say, okay, fellas, this is what we got? Well, right off the jump, you got 15 kids that ain't going to come. So are you going to be willing to say, you 15 kids, adios? You're not going to be involved in the program because you're not going to do the program. I mean, the kids at New Prairie, they do the program. The kids at LaPorte, they do the program, but you can't get the inner city kids to do that. And can you find a coach that'll bite the bullet and say, okay, you 25, you guys are my team. I mean, you're an ex-football guy.
I know. And that's right. It's a numbers game, and you've got to have numbers.
Would you back in your prime, would you have said, here's what we have. This is our workout times. And if you ain't coming, you ain't playing. And then be able to stick to that when 10 of your pretty good athletes didn't come.
I learned real quick when I was at Adams, you're not going to get them in there at 6:30 in the morning to shoot free throws. You got a better chance to get them in there at 9:30 or 10 at night than you do 6 or 6:30 in the morning.
And when I was in high school at Adams, I swam in the winter. You know what? And we were in the pool at 5:30 in the morning.
And they still do.
But guess what? The boys basketball team was in there at 5:30 in the morning shooting or weightlifting or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's what it was. Either you're going to do it my way or you're out of here.
Or the highway.
That was the Hadaway way back in the day when I was in school.
100%.
And now in South Bend, they're afraid to say that. Kids are going to say, well,
they can't get there. Yes, you can.
I can't get there. Oh, I don't have a way to get there. My mom works third shift. She's sleeping.
Well, I mean, you had swimmers that worked third shift. Their parents
absolutely,
but they got there, right?
We got there. My whole team was there 5:30 every morning.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, no, and I think the discipline, or maybe to say this way, and I don't know if you can do this. I don't know, but maybe you say, out of the 3 schools in South Bend, we got 1 football team. We're going to combine these kids. You got 1 football team, and we're going to have a decent football program. Let's say each school has 40 kids going out. You're going to have 100 kids on this football team now. And by attrition, maybe you'll end up with 70 because maybe some kids won't do it. But now you're going to bring back a tradition,
right?
Football, South Bend football tradition.
I agree.
Because it was back in the day. They had it back in the day. And Clay was good.
Yeah. Well, my dad went to Riley back in the late 30s, early 40s, and he told me stories that you go to school and let's say and the only field at that time to play was school field. That was it. The only field.
Oh,
school
beautiful!
Field. And my dad said they'd get on the PA on Tuesday morning. If you're going to the football game Friday night, stop by the athletic office today because there ain't going to be a ticket at the gate on Friday. And that's what my dad said they did. And Riley was dominant in the 1940s.
Yeah. So that's 100% true because my brother played for South Bend, Washington in 65, 66. I remember going to every one of those games with my dad. You couldn't get a seat at school field. You could not get a seat.
And they had concrete bleachers on both sides, didn't they?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Concrete bleachers on both sides. And then I go to the Goshen, Washington game last year at school field. What a beautiful field. What a beautiful setting, the turf and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, maybe 300 fans for Goshen, maybe 50 fans for Washington.
Yeah, a lot of people dressed up as empty bleachers.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Exactly.
Hey, listen, we are going to we're going to cut this short now. We've gone. It's about 8:15ish. Got a great show, man. Darren is great to talk to. He's one of you, John. He's a guy that has done this forever and ever and ever. Pat and I are newbies. We don't know any better, but you guys fought the wars. You guys have done this for a long, long time. And having Darren on was really good. Next week you'll be happy to know we're going to have Chuck Freeby in the studio.
Wonderful.
So I know
next week's game week, right?
Yeah. And I know if you can make it, I know it would be great to have you in here with Chuck also.
You Chuck and I won't be here all night.
no, this podcast we can be here all night.
We could be here. We could be here till they close.
Yeah, and we'll specifically break down Notre Dame next week. But Chuck will be here next week. Our sponsors are amazing. Again, Harbor Financial, Tony Letcher Health Markets, Pat Hahn Funeral Homes, the Savory Colonel. By the way, Kenny, in that bowl, Colonel.
Yes.
Savory Colonel, Black Sedan Band, my buddy. I played with Dennis Jordan and Zach Williams, family chiropractic clinic. By the way, be safe. If you haven't signed an organ donation card, sign that organ donation card because don't take your organs to heaven. Heaven knows we need them here. You guys are the best. Thanks for coming in, Johnny. Pat, you're the best. Great to have you back, big boy.
I'm here.
Ron Hecklinski saying, until next week, folks.
We'll see you next week.
Peace. Is the pizza out there?
8 o'clock.